And a lot of people are wondering, well, what about his extra set of arms? Because in the movie, he was doing so much badass shit that he broke both his arms.
Did he really?
Yeah, and they had to put CG arms on it.
Are you serious?
So he was tagging people with virtual arms.
Wait, is that why he wasn't in Infinity War?
Yeah, because he can't shoot no arrows. Somebody get my arrow for me.
Just hold a bow. I'll use
Yeah,
my teeth.
he's gonna say he's trying. Yeah, he's
I use my mouth and my feet.
Ah, fuck it. You think we're childish over here? This we ain't been playing tag for 30 years, like these people that this movie's about to be based on right here. This movie Tag, it is about not only grown ass men but middle-aged grown ass men. They were so close in high school, and they played tag so much, and then when they were done with high school, they said, you know something, I miss my boys. I miss my friends. Now, dudes usually get together and they go to, I don't know, they do things that men do. They go out for a beer. They might hit up the strip club or something, Mm-hmm. But now these guys said, no, let's play a game for 8-year-olds. The game that we were too old to be playing when we stopped. 18, 19 years old, grabbing ass. Grabbing each other's ass. And while that's silly, it did actually make for a good story. Made news everywhere. Got I think a couple of documentaries out there, like on television, about them. And in the news came.
Have we run out of stuff to talk about?
It's making news, man. Extra. Read all about it. Grown ass man grabbing ass for 30 years. The headlines, Mark. Now it's a multi-million-dollar blockbuster for Hollywood.
Wow.
Featuring A-list actors. And so, hey, all that tagging for years, it paid off in some kind of way. Got a Hollywood movie made about them. And let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer, and we'll talk more about the movie and some of the guys that it's based on after this.
For the entire month of May, every year we play tag.
You got me.
Get up!
Eat my dick.
You talking about? What you mean, Corey? That's the most badass game of tag that I've ever seen. Of course, I'd keep that up for 30 years and even more. If it looked as cool as that. And that's the thing about this, man. This movie keeps saying, proudly, based on a true story. And the thing about that is that you can't even come in here and say that this is inspired by true events. If anything, this movie, they should say we just made up a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's about some grown men who played tag.
Yeah, but
so by that definition, it's not a lie.
It's not a lie, but it did. I mean, this is the definition of the Hollywood treatment right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and look, I'm not saying it's good or bad.
You pare down or combine characters. You pump up the hijinks.
Yeah,
cause a lot of property damage.
Oh,
yeah. Everyone looks completely different.
Oh, then
they don't even look the same age. Like, are they going to talk about how the age difference between?
Well,
John
that's the
Hamm
thing. These guys right here, they are in their 40s, and that's the first thing that we need to talk about. We're not talking about. Look, we're not shaming these guys. We're not calling them ugly or anything, but they look nothing like the people that they were cast as.
Well, sure.
Our friend Brian said, we ought to resurrect the tag game.
We've added 3 rules. February only. There's no touchbacks. And if somebody asks if you are it, you have to answer truthfully and reasonably.
Now, these guys, that's a Sports Center feature on that. And these guys, I don't know, at this point, they might.
Sport now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they made it.
When they explain it like that, you're like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, I don't know, maybe they're in their 50s right now, but they definitely look older than mid-40s.
Well, sure.
And, and that's the...
I didn't see the black one. Where is he?
See?
Where's that one?
That's the thing, man. Look, it's cool how they went through and made, like, a legal binding and rules for this game. But you look at the group, ain't not one John Hamm is in there.
No.
They ain't nobody Hawkeye. And as I said, no one is black at all. they took some liberties, to say the least.
Well, I just within the confines of the movie itself, because there's no way they're doing like, going to do a straight biopic of those guys. But I'm like, so I'm supposed to believe that John Hamm and Jake Johnson and Isla Fisher were all 9 years old at the same time?
Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Like, I'm pretty sure you're 50 and you're like 35.
Yeah, it's like you can look at this shit and know John Hamm is way older than Jack Johnson or Jake Johnson, whatever. You can and Hannibal Buress is the youngest out of all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about when I say he took liberties. I mean, this is another dimension that these people are in.
Right.
Maybe he got held back a lot. Did they say anything about like that?
No, he's the most successful one.
John Hamm? Oh yeah, John. Oh yeah, you didn't see this.
He's running a corporation.
Oh no, and no, they're everywhere on the map with these ages, man. They really do. They put that shit out there and they ask us straight face. Believe that they were all, as Martin said, 9 years old at the same time.
Because even with Isla Fisher, I thought, okay, Ed Helms married her later, but then she mentions like, oh yeah, back when we were in school, blah blah blah, and they do a flashback to when they were in high school, apparently all together, and I'm like, yo,
shit, John Hamm,
help me out here.
John Hamm could have been Hannibal Buress' elementary school teacher.
Yo.
That's how they went to school together.
I just joined in. I thought it looked fun.
I'm like, no, don't pull that black don't crack shit. No, they are not the same age, man. Get the fuck out of here. But all right. We'll go ahead. We'll it's a movie. We'll
sure.
walk past that. But then they move on to say that some of these people, they're not even human. They're superhuman. Oh. Jeremy Renner.
Okay.
Jeremy Renner is Hawkeye, and then some. In fact, he's better than Hawkeye.
No, we see why he wasn't in Infinity War.
Yeah,
he was here playing tag.
Because he was playing tag. Yeah, Jeremy Renner in this. When I say he's superhuman, I'm not lying. The dude can jump. He jumps through glass without a scratch at all. The man, he wins at tag so much because he has spidey sense. Like he can predict everybody's move before they even get there.
It's a lot like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, exactly.
Punch to the chest. Yeah. He'll stop for a moment, throw a donut.
That's exactly what it is.
It's exactly like that.
Oh no,
that's exactly what it is.
He's the equalizer.
He's a little bit of the equalizer in that too. Okay. The only thing he's not doing is setting a stopwatch before he beats everybody's ass in the room.
He did check his watch one time.
Yeah, and that's I mean they really make like he's doing backflips all over the place. He's got expert aim. He throws some shit and it just sticks.
Okay.
He's not, in this movie, he is a superhero.
Yeah.
And again, they don't ask us to budge on that. They don't ask us to question it. Just go with it. And a lot of people are wondering, well, what about his extra set of arms? Because in the movie, he was doing so much badass shit that he broke both his arms.
Did he really?
Yeah, and they had to put CG arms on that.
Are you serious?
So he was tagging people with virtual arms.
Wait, is that why he wasn't in Infinity War? I want to know why he wasn't there.
Yeah, because he can't shoot no arrows. Somebody get my arrow for me.
Just hold a bow. I'll use my teeth.
He's going to say, he's
I use my mouth and my feet.
Fuck it. Go on without me.
Next time, Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah, Thanos snapped and his arm just disappeared. What the fuck? Yeah, man, they don't. They don't care. They don't give a shit about it how ridiculous this gets. But I will tell you that, with the stuff that Jeremy Renner is doing in here, you don't question it in the context of the movie because the movie just, I use the word a lot, it's just absurd. It's just this. In fact, showing Jeremy Renner as somebody who is as much a superhero as he is in this movie. They're saying that, okay, you know what? The filmmakers, they already know this is a silly premise. I mean, it's based on something real, but they know that's a silly premise.
Sure.
And they just said, you know what? Instead of going in and rehashing the same stories that you saw about these guys, like I said, there's a couple of documentaries out there about them. There's tons of news articles and reports, and they said instead of just doing all that, you can find that anywhere. Let's just take it and have fun with it.
Sure.
It's a silly premise. Let's just make it even sillier and have a good time with it. So that I can respect. I don't mind absurdity, especially when the shit was absurd to begin with.
Yeah, they embrace it. It's not something where they're just so incompetent they don't see it. You can see that this is what they set out to do.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's they made a fantasy version of a real life story that already sounds like a fantasy anyway. So I don't mind that at all. Now, having said that, I still think your enjoyment of the film depends on how much you still want to suspend belief. This is depends on how far you want to stretch that fantasy, because this is something where sometimes they take it so far that they just bend the rules a little bit. They do things that are just convenient for them to keep the gags and the story going. For me, I couldn't bend it that much. I could not take it that far.
You got to do more yoga.
I guess so, man. I got to do more stretching. I mean, this is some shit where I'm taking my leg and behind my back and putting my foot up my own ass. It's because I'm not saying that with everything in the movie, but I'm just saying that, now you said it didn't even see the movie.
No.
Because throughout the film, I kept asking myself, where are the police? Mm-hmm. These guys should either be dead or they should be arrested.
Right.
Because in the movie, they go through and they do so much, they destroy public property, they assault people besides themselves, they commit breaking and entering, they run through people's homes, breaking their shit. They create public disturbances. There's even a part where they're in a church and they destroy that church, man. They just breaking windows, they have no respect for the people that are there. They're scaring people out of it. And the thing is, once they get done destroying that place, do they run? Do they try to hide? No, they sit down and cool out for a few hours, and no one calls the police. Some of the people who were there and saw it, they just sitting back and cooling out with them.
Okay, this didn't bother me.
Okay.
And it didn't bother me in as much as, yes, the movie has already set itself up as being absurd or not realistic. And they seem to be in a small town that they grew up in. And a lot of times, like in that church, it's hardly anybody there. There's nobody much to report.
There's a lot of alcoholics in that church that needed their help that day.
Yeah, but they know Buddy, and they're like, all right, well, this is some of his shenanigans. They didn't seem to be. And then, he's well off. John Hamm is super well off. It'd be easy enough to pay people off, anybody who didn't know them. And most people seem to know them anyway.
Man, Martin, I know you. You're a great friend, one of my best friends out there, if not my best friend. But I tell you what, if you pick up a chair and break that window over there, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to be mad about that shit.
Test this.
No, you ain't beating my ass. You're going to get me to pay for it, which I will. You are not going to fight me over that window.
Well, shit, when you put it like that.
There's no way but to find out. Let's do this.
I think Martin. No, I'm talking hypothetically. Martin, Martin got a man. You ain't whooping my ass.
I wish the fuck you would.
Martin, I'm breaking that window, and you ain't gonna do a goddamn thing about it. Martin want to break that window so bad right now.
Actually, I don't, because when it comes down to it, it's not actually your window. You're renting this space.
Martin, you were tearing up the property that I pay for.
Which you would be compensated
Martin,
for.
And I might. No, I can't control my actions. I'm sorry if I.
You get mad, you yell. You might even grab me by the collar.
But you ain't gonna beat my ass.
Yeah.
I like the way Martin is. I want to challenge you so much right now to see how mad I'll be.
That's what I'm saying. I want for it. Let's do this shit. Make my last day an angel.
I haven't decided to break that window.
Maybe I won't because I need you to pay for the window.
Exactly.
And I can't.
You hit me, it becomes assault.
It does. It does. And then I'm in jail. Like these fuckers should be. You see how this works out now? Either way it goes, I got a point to make, man. Even John Hamm at his work. He's in his job.
Yeah.
He even tries to tear up his office.
His own office.
Yeah.
That just set the tone for what I was about to see. I was like, okay, this is the level we're at with this. So them with the wondering where are the cops. I was like, it's one horse town. They can do what they want, and it just didn't seem to be that heavily populated. So that didn't bother me. I was fine with that.
Okay.
Now, what did bother me?
Yes.
Was just how lazy the writing could be most of the time.
Okay, now see, I think we're probably on the same page here and don't even know it, because I'm not looking for real world logic in this. If they break windows and shit, that's fine. But it's like it is very apparent from the writing that it is lazy. Like things don't have consequences, not because the rules in the world they set up is that silly. It's like, no, we just don't feel like answering that or giving consequences to that because we just want to keep moving on with the jokes.
Sure. I mean, there's a point, and you see in a trailer where there's all kinds of a Bengal tiger trap set up. Stuff from the Viet Cong used to do. Like, you cut the log and it goes into somebody and nets. And, and I was like, okay, one, how do you set that up? And even though they give an explanation, I'm like, how far are we taking this? Because how much money and manpower is going into just doing these traps on these guys, which could easily kill them because they're all middle-aged, just to not get tagged. Like, there's not, it goes past the point of, they're suspending disbelief of like, okay, they really want to go far to not get tagged or to tag this guy. But there has to be a ceiling of some sort.
Yeah.
And it's just times when it feels like sometimes there's a ceiling, sometimes there's not.
I like how you call it there, but you can't call them like breaking the law blatantly. But but I hear what you're saying because there's a part where they do set up a trap where a log comes down. I'm not talking about a small log that goes into a fireplace. I'm talking about some shit that's meant to crush a man's torso.
Yeah, it's that shit that Rambo was doing to the National Guard.
Yeah,
First Blood.
That's
that point where it gets there, and I'm like, okay, how far are we taking this?
And you know what? In a way, because it gets to be Three Stooges physics, where they're doing things that should kill a man,
Right?
but they get up because they're like cartoons after a while.
Yeah,
they're made out of rubber. But see, the other thing is where you dismiss the thing that I was talking about. I can kind of take it here because it just shows how psychotic these guys are getting over this game, which added an air of unpredictability to me with this movie. It's like you don't know when something is fake, when they're lying, or when you're walking around, they've set up a trap, and then again they push the boundaries of the absurdity here by just having these guys be almost insane, and this game has driven them insane.
And you're right, and I like the idea of it escalating to that point, but they'll do something that's deadly. We all agree that's completely deadly.
The log.
Yeah, like the log, among other things. And then right after that, somebody will do something that's seriously morally crossing the line, and they're like, oh man, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm like, what about these other things that were lethal?
But at that point, I was like, man, none of them are using common sense. They've been playing. They're 40-year-old man playing tag for 30 years. They're fucking insane. Logic is gone.
Sure,
they went out 30 years ago with them.
And I'm not trying to have logic, but there's a certain emotional logic you need to have.
But there is a point in here where I can say that maybe they're being insensitive. I don't know if there's certain people who might see this and it could hit a little close to home, and I know this is a dark comedy, but to go that dark with it, I don't know if
is anything
am I wrong?
What they showed in the trailer where he's like he tagged him at the funeral.
I can't say any more than that.
Yeah, I don't want to say more than that. But no, you're right. Like that thing you're talking about, that changes the tone of everything.
Yeah,
and the way it was handled, I was like, all right. People, what, we supposed to just laugh this off and keep on going?
Is Isla Fisher in the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be something with her. Yeah.
I'm kind of putting the pieces together.
Yeah. No, I mean, and people like saying, "Man, you're not gonna know what we're talking about. You're not." But it's just
not gonna do a spoiler.
I was not comfortable. But it's and that's what I mean by all right, you didn't have to take it that far. See, the thing is that we've seen I think a better version of this movie already. Game Night.
What's
real? Oh yeah.
What's fake?
Is this gun real?
Oh no, Andy.
No.
This movie gets really dark. This movie gets really insane, and yet they had rules and logistics that they stood by. They were able to get very dark without getting tasteless. And the writing was sharp.
Yeah, the writing's sharp, and the movie is smart. And the sharp and the smart part are what's missing from Tag.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like Tag isn't fun. And I did get some laughs. Some there's a 2 or 3 times I laughed out loud. I can't take that away from it.
Yeah,
and I was never bored in it. But I did find myself, the characters are only so deep.
Yeah.
and only so likable. And I know for people who just want to see buddies, they they're like, hey, but I'm like,
Yeah.
these guys, they don't really feel like they're longtime buddies because they keep telling each other they are.
No, man, that's exactly it. What it is that the actors kind of keep it going because the theme of this is supposed to be friendship and how long friendship lasts between people. But the thing is, these are actors having fun with each other. They're not characters.
Right.
These are actors just clowning around and they're them. They're not really developed characters. It's like John Hamm is John Hamm.
Yeah.
John Hamm is so handsome that John Hamm, he can say like these little things. John Hamm's used to just being in front of the camera and getting by life in ease, with ease.
He's John Hamm until ever so often they need him to be goofy.
They need to be a little goofy. And the thing
And
is,
it's out of character.
And the thing is, when John Hamm is goofy, it's like he's too handsome to be that goofy.
Yeah, right.
He says, and his humor is actually good because it's very conversational humor. And he'll say they just give him like little things to say to react off of other people,
Right.
and that works. But when they try to make him goofy, it's like ain't nobody buying this shit.
Right.
That motherfucker's Batman. He too. He would not be
Good looking and rich. Stop.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to the point that when later in the film, when Rashida Jones comes in, it's a longtime love that he had a rivalry with Jake Johnson. And she's got that whole, I don't know which one of you I want to go with. You're like, girl, would you quit playing?
Are you out your fucking mind? Rashida Jones, by the way, she plays, like Martin said, an ex-girlfriend that comes in to John Hamm's character and Jake Johnson's. And first of all, she's a horrible character.
Yeah.
Like she's just there to like pit them against each other, and since they don't develop her that much, she just comes off kind of as a bitchy character.
Okay.
Like and the thing is, that'd be cool if she was bitchy, but they want you to like see her as the voice of reason. It's like you started this shit.
Yeah, like I mean, she knew why she was brought in. She's just a big cock tease to both of them.
She
to throw
really
the
is.
game off, but then she acts like you boys are stupid.
What the? What? Yeah, exactly. What the fuck were they put in the water at this school that makes people cannot give this shit up in their lives?
This school in Flint, Michigan?
These they've been drinking lead or something, man, because these motherfuckers can't stop playing tag. She can't stop cock teasing after all the two same dudes after 30 years. What the fuck is going on with this town, man?
Come on, ma'am.
I mean, I'm not talking about mental retardation in the sense that I'm making fun of these people, but their lives have been retarded.
Retarded, yeah. Yeah.
There's no other way to put it,
Yes,
man.
it's arrested development. Yeah, it sounds like she's like, you two boys are fucked up. I'm like, you're the one here talking to us.
Yeah, they really want you to be like, telling them, you're too old for this. Bitch, you too old for this.
Why are you here?
You're doing the same shit you did on the playground 30 years ago. And the rest of these fools ain't no better, man.
No.
Jake Johnson just a pothead, a loser.
Yeah.
Again, why she fucking with him, I don't know.
Right?
John Hamm got a job.
He's got a corporation.
He's running a Fortune. Some shit I ain't even heard of, a Fortune 600 corporation.
Okay.
The Wall Street Journal's interviewing him. He's so famous, got tons of money, and she's like, I don't know, should I take him or the loser pothead?
The guy that wears bandanas to funerals.
Who's technically still married.
He has such potential.
He even told her. He sits down because John Hamm's like, she's like, what have you been up to? He's like, oh, I just run a big company. I'm very wealthy right now, and I'm being interviewed by the Wall Street Journal. She goes to Jake Johnson. She's like, what are you up to? He's like, oh, I'm divorced. I lost my business, and I smoke a lot of pot. She's like, ooh. I was like, huh? Okay, I know this movie's absurd, but God damn it, we got a lot of I like bad boys.
Burnouts.
Yeah, the fuck is going on here?
But you know who my favorite character in this whole thing was?
Ed Helms?
No, Isla Fisher.
Oh, really? Let me put up. I was certain you weren't going to say. I pulled that picture up. Like, it's going to be one of these dudes right here. No. Did you like Isla Fisher?
I did. It made me sad that, because she's the wife, that she doesn't get more to do.
I liked her. I just thought that she had, in the movie, the joke with her is that she's got a temper and she's very competitive.
Very competitive.
Yeah, and that, some of that was funny, but then to me, they just kind of ran that joke to the ground after a while, to the point where it was just kind of like, it was just there for a laugh instead of being used for something like hitting, punching somebody and looking at the car like, fuck you, bitch. I was like, all right, didn't nobody even do nothing to you right now. You just being
No,
mean.
because she had her own little history that was going on, and even though she's pushed to the background because we were focusing on these 4 jackasses, every time the little bit they did with her, I was like, dang, she's actually got a lot going on with this, but she's stepping back, and I
Yeah.
love her passion for this. Like her passion, the way she is, how crazy she is, it works for the absurdity of everything that's going on.
No, what's funny to me is that like they made her kind of like a bottom bitch type girl, It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, she can't even play the game, but she like I'm out for my man. She just assists to like Ed Helms is pretty much a tag pimp in this movie. Like, he's in her mind, and so he uses her to stop other dudes. He uses her to like distract people, and she, and the thing is, the rules from a long time ago, no girls allowed, because they made the game when they were like 12 or something.
Yeah.
But speaking of Ed Helms in the movie. The only reason why I really like Ed Helms in the movie is because I feel like Ed Helms as a real person could be still doing this shit at 30. Ed Helms is just that goofy. I think in real life, to where I was like, all right, I'm not a big Ed Helms fan, but he is Ed Helms in the movie, and I can see him doing this shit.
Well, he's pretty much the driving force. He kicks the whole thing off.
Yeah.
And he does seem to be the most into it. He's the one who will wear disguises and shit.
Oh, yeah.
As one of the real guys was doing.
That's one thing I got to say with the movie. They're like, okay, you don't believe this shit? Because they were talking to me. I'm like, man, some bullshit. And they're like, all right, look here. And they showed like real footage of the guys doing a lot of the stuff that they were doing in the movie.
Okay.
Chasing each other down on golf carts and wearing disguises and, infiltrating their jobs.
Okay.
Yeah, man, these guys, they need help, man.
They were laughing the whole time they did it. They thought, hey, this will be funny.
No, these motherfuckers need help. All of them need to go to group therapy. But the one who I have to say just does not belong there, and we already said it, is Hannibal Buress.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of scenes where he's not even part of the group. and they just bring him on to just, do that thing you do. Say something deadpan right now.
Yeah, Hannibal Buress is just being Hannibal Buress. Look,
I don't think he has another range.
Yeah, you know how some comedians can do drama later on and they're really good at it? I don't see that for him.
Hannibal Buress is going to be Hannibal Buress.
Right.
That's all he ever going to be. I mean, he's got him paid, so that's good. But in this movie, he's as token as a token black friend can get. It's like,
Except he doesn't hand down wisdom.
Yeah, no, every now and then. Every now was a couple times he was a magical, mystical Negro in this movie, and it's funny too. Yeah, because look, I don't want to have a closed mind about this, but I just feel like I don't feel like he ever should be like they say he grew up with them. I felt like, man, they bust this Negro over. This is some affirmative action shit going on right here. You know what I'm saying? It's like he is not their childhood friend. Mm-hmm. He's a black motherfucker that has a good agent, and that's why he can hang out with white people. You know what I'm saying? In this movie.
Mm-hmm. That's harsh, but accurate.
Look, Denzel back in his younger days would be part of this group. No, he wouldn't, because he's been doing this
Nah.
stupid shit. Chris Tucker, no, fuck. No, you know what? No,
Marlon Wayans.
no, this is straight white people shit. I tell you, like I said, the movie, I do like that it keeps you guessing. These guys are so insane with this. You don't know. You really don't know when they're telling the truth and when they're not. You don't know what they have set up for each other. And I thought that was funny. Just the psychotic level that they took it to. So they could tag Jeremy Renner. But, I'm not, like I said, man, they just take too many liberties with logic to the point that it's lazy. And so I give it a high rental. I mean, I'm like Martin, I laughed a few times, quite a few times.
This could have easily fallen on the umbrella of Adam Sandler and been something where it would have just been a straight out Three Stooges movie, except not funny.
Yeah.
And so it avoids a lot of that. And it is written. It's not one of these movies that's ad-libbed constantly, where they're just like, hey, just keep saying any funny thing you can, and we'll keep the best one. So
Yeah.
I appreciated that about it. I do think it's uneven in its tone, where it's not too mean-spirited, except at one point where it is, and it kind of don't acknowledge that. And then at the very end, it tries to be sweet and have a message. And I was like, I'm down with this message, but it would have been cool if it had been interwoven throughout the film.
Yeah.
It's like a goofy film that at the end goes like, but really it's all about this. And it's like, I'm not feeling it now.
No, it ain't no. Like I said, these are not really characters. You know, these are actors having fun, which is fine. The movie's fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I swear I'm so in between. I'm going to go ahead and give it a low matinee.
Okay.
Because I see where it's fun. And normally I'm like, I don't care if the audience is laughing or not. But they were having a good time in such a way where I was like, I see what y'all enjoy about this.
Yeah.
Did I give Game Night a full price? Because I really should have.
I think give it a matinee.
Yeah, I think I did too. That's the thing that makes me go, well, this should get a rental then. Because you're so right about how Game Night was that movie that did all the things
Well,
right.
Martin, we can do two things right now.
What can
I
we
got
do?
two offers for you.
All right.
Now, we can either give this movie a rental, or we can go ahead and just amend your rating for Game Night. You can get it at a full price right now.
I'll do that.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
There you go, people. You actually review and tag, but Martin give Game Night a full price.